Hello, welcome to Rooted in the Word. We are on week 24. Want to kind of finish out Thessalonians here. So once again, Paul's writing another letter to the Thessalonians and commending them for being awesome, basically, giving them encouragement. And then he is also warning them of the man of lawlessness, which we'll go over more when we get to Revelations, I am sure. But the man of lawlessness that Paul is referring to, I believe, is the Antichrist, which, once again, we'll get more into that at Revelation time. Yeah, basically saying that this man of lawlessness will take his seat in the temple of God and proclaim to be God. And that he will have power and false signs and wonders and deceive many. So Paul is kind of warning them against that. Once again, every Pauline epistle so far that we've gone through, at least, has had some sort of warning about false prophets, essentially. And this man of lawlessness would be considered a false prophet. Also, I'm a little sick, so if I sound weird, I apologize. And then right after he warns them of the man of lawlessness and tells them to stand firm in their faith, he warns against idleness, which I think being placed right after this highlights its importance. But then on top of that, Paul says that he commands you, brothers, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, that you keep away from any brother who is walking in idleness and not in accord with the tradition that you received from us. So he's warning the church very explicitly not to be idle. And then he says to imitate himself, that while he was in Thessalonica with them, he and his crew, they were not idle. They worked so that they were not a burden on them, so that they would receive him better. And he says that if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. For we hear that some among you walk in idleness, not busy at work, but busy bodies. So that is making a distinction between actually doing useful work and just busy work, essentially. Don't do that, cat. That also kind of reminds me of the rich young ruler parable, who the landowner has a field, and he goes out to the market to find workers early in the morning, grabs some workers and brings them in. They agree on a price for the day's labor, and they go to work. And, a few hours later, he goes back to the market, finds more people standing idly by, and gives them a job to do, asks, why are you just standing here? And they say, no one would hire us. So the guy, or the landowner, gives them a job, brings them back to the field, and says he will pay them what is right. And then, a few hours later, does the same thing until pretty much the end of the day. And when the day is over, he pays everybody the same. So the first people that he hired, he negotiated a price. I forget what the price was for the day's labor. And the people that only worked 1 hour got that price as well. So to me, looking at it in context of the don't being idle portion of it, instead of just everybody gets the same reward. And it's the master's right to give what he deems fit. But looking at it from the idleness perspective, the landowner was being very generous. He could have just walked out, found the people that didn't have a job, and just given them money. That would have been essentially the same thing for him. Because especially the people that were hired very last, they didn't actually provide him any value in exchange for the money he gave. So it was also just a work of charity on his part. But I think what he did was better than just giving them money, because he gave them the dignity of work. And I think that's something that we as a society are starting to lose. Everybody just wants their handouts. Not everybody, but a lot of people just want their handouts, and they seek comfort and laziness above all. Where we are commanded to work, basically. If we don't work, we don't eat. That's what the landowner was doing, is testing their heart to see if they were actually willing to work to make some money. I'm sure the people who were hired last, they were excited to get some work, and they were expecting very, very little pay, but they were probably hoping that they would at least be able to afford a meal. They went out, they tried to get work, they couldn't get work, but then the landowner came, and through his means that he had, he was able to generously provide them work. It kind of also reminds me of the Adult Teen Challenge program, who, was helping needy people, but also giving them work to do, so that they can take pride in something, and the act of working helps build their character, and also is providing them a valuable service to help them out of their dire situation. And not just giving them money and hoping they don't waste it. It's giving them some structure, giving them some focus, something to focus on, and the dignity of working, while also giving them valuable skills that they can then use in everyday life. And that's, I think, one of the great things about work as well. And it doesn't necessarily have to be paid work for it to be considered work. Because I know I'd like to retire one day as well, but I won't be just sitting around my house. I don't think. I'll have to find something to do, because I don't want to just sit around and be idle all the time, even if it's just a hobby. That still gives you some kind of purpose, and hopefully that hobby also provides value to others, even if it's just your close family. That was kind of the big thing I got out of this week's reading was don't be idle. Work is good. Sorry, this is a little shorter. I'm not feeling great, so I'm gonna let that be all for today. As always, love God, love people. Have a wonderful day.